Wubba dub dub everyone, and welcome back to Dark Souls 3. I am James, aka Red Scare Rex if you prefer, and it's time to move on. Whoever put that message there is an asshole. It essentially means it's difficult to like this. But that is a hell of a bonfire. It is lit. That is the bonfire. Like I said, it looks like it's in the Lord Vessel, which is what allowed you to link the fire in the first game. It is an incredibly important item. And now I can finally attune spells, organize my bottomless box. Whenever I use any bonfire from here on out, it's going to repair my weapons and armor. Miracle imparted as charity to those of little faith, as a show of tolerance for the way of white. Thanks, guys. Thanks for that vote of confidence.
Produce the coils, the mark of ash will guide thee to the land of Tolothric. Farewell, I made
the land of lords. Tolothric, we go. High wall of Lothric. Finally, we're moving on with the game. But as I was saying, the Lord Vessel, it is what allowed you to open up the door to the Kiln of the First Flame, which is where Gwyn linked the fire for the first time and prolonged the Age of Fire, the Age of Light. Without it, we would have an Age of Dark. And no one really knows what that means. Humans might be at home, since we're beings of dark. Fun fact about Dark Souls, it was originally not going to be called Dark Souls in Japan. FromSoft was going to call it the Dark Race, until someone pointed out another also Lord Vessel looking item there, a little bit smaller. This feels a lot like the Chalice dungeons in Bloodborne. The human beings are beings of dark, and so therefore the game was going to be called The Dark Race, referring to humans. But then someone pointed out, hey, do you want to make this game in other countries besides Japan? Because don't call it The Dark Race, unless you really don't want it to leave Japan. Because someone might think that would be racist. It's not really racist as bad in Japan. They don't have, the racial history that, especially the States has, the West in general. And then I think they were going to go with the Dark Ring, referring to the dark side. But that, in my opinion, that's a little too Lord of the Rings. So they went with Dark Souls, and I think it's a good title. Yeah, it's a little close to Demon Souls. Fun fact on that one too, it's not Demon Souls. We call it Demon Souls. We call it that because that's what makes sense and that's what sounds good. But it's Demon's Souls. That doesn't really make sense. It makes sense grammatically, but not really thematically, if you get what I mean. The dogs are easy. These guys will they're praying. They're cowering. Ooh, Archer. Okay. So from now on, it's a good idea. Take out that guy first. I don't know why I didn't decide to take him on. I figured if I got out of range, he wouldn't be an issue. And for the most part, I was right, but the archers in this game, or crossbowmen, they can actually move now to get better shots at them. I don't believe that they could really move in the last game unless you got close to them, in which case they might go into melee. Backstabs for the win. But I still get hit by an arrow. And there's another one now. Things are not looking good, guys. This is like Game of Thrones. Being outnumbered is a huge deal. You can actually die very easily as long as you're outnumbered. And I'm being cheesed with arrows. These guys have really big, nasty weapons. Let's maybe try to go upstairs. At least if I die, I'll die in the bonfire. And he doesn't seem to be able to hit me here. Definitely want to go after him first. if you can eliminate enemies, if you can minimize how many problems you have to deal with, that's always a good way to do it. Don't try to split your damage up between two opponents equally. It's never really a good idea, with the major exception of some boss fights like the gargoyles. As you can see, I don't know if you guys saw it at the edge of those stairs. The crossbowman is actually coming down the ramp as we speak. He's up there. But yeah, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. That's the way to do it, guys. It's a moral I actually learned in Pokemon. When they introduced dual battles. As you guys can tell, especially compared to the first boss so far, general enemies ain't nothing to fuck with. Especially those big hollows. They've probably been dead a long time, and they've been transformed. So once again, I'm not following my own advice. Do as I say, not as I do. I think I realize the error of my ways here. Yeah, you can kill this guy first. In fact, you always should. Just don't fuck up as much as I have. As you can see, I'm getting really sick and tired of the spear. That looks like it's hanging out of my eyes. No, it's my chest. I wish there was an opportunity to plunge attack anyone, but mainly just getting the lay of the land. Okay. So the guy with the axe, not the halberd, but the axe, the hand axe, he actually comes from down those stairs down there, from your left, as we're about to see. And the dogs are actually not too difficult in this game. In Dark Souls 1, I want to say they dodged more, so they were actually pretty challenging, especially during the, one of the hardest fights in the early game, the Cavern Cave. They were a big pain in the ass then. And if you guys have ever played the Wannabe Souls game, and I say that because there's a lot of parts of the game that's just a blatant ripoff of Dragon's Dogma. The wolves or dogs in that game are probably the most deadly enemies in the game, because flanking damage in that one is way too extreme, and they get around to you really quick. So yeah, take these guys one-on-one if you can, if you can even see what you're doing. And in areas where they give you the opportunity, fight near the bonfire. Okay, so it was maybe a bad example of it, but that's what I call a window of opportunity attack. You know an enemy's coming straight for you, so use some area denial. Set up a really strong move that has some good range, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to run straight into that fight. They're going to run straight into the, tip of whatever weapon you choose to use. Okay, he's not there, which is troubling. These guys remind me of the Monumentals from Demon Souls. Or the Monumental, I should say. But yeah, if you can attack an enemy as they're charging at you, you can 9 times out of 10 interrupt the attack and get some pretty good damage on him and stop him in the process. And you can usually follow it up with a combo. Window of opportunity. Window of opportunity, guys. Take advantage of it. Learn it. Love it. Because it will save your life. It's really good with great swords and ultra great swords. In Bloodborne, the Ludwig's Holy Sword. Oh my god! In its transformed mode, it was godly. It was how I survived that game. So yeah, never underestimate even one. Even one can really fuck you up. as you guys are about to see. Yeah. He chopped me mid-air as I was flying towards him. Do as I say, not as I do. Alright guys, that's going to do us for today's episode. Hollows hit hard. Don't forget that. Lessons learned today. Thank you for watching. I have been James, aka Red Scare Rex, and I will see you next time.